What if I told you you're not actually busy? You're just spending your time like you've got unlimited supply. Yeah, that hits a little, right? Because we all say the same thing. I don't have time. But somehow, we do have time to scroll for 2 hours, watch just one episode that turns into 5, and suddenly it's 2 a.m., and we're questioning our entire life while eating snacks we didn't even plan to eat. Time isn't the problem. The way we use it, that's where things get interesting. Here's the truth. Everyone gets the same 24 hours. The difference is not who has time, it's who decides what matters. Think about it. You don't find time, you make time. And sometimes making time means making uncomfortable choices, like choosing to work on your goal instead of watching another video, or going to sleep early instead of saying, I'll fix my sleep schedule tomorrow, knowing very well tomorrow has been tomorrow for the past 6 months. We've all been there. But let me tell you something most people don't realize. Time doesn't slow down when you're confused. It doesn't pause when you're scared. It doesn't wait for you to feel ready. It just keeps going, quietly, consistently, unstoppably. And that's what makes it so powerful and so dangerous. Because while you're overthinking, while you're waiting for the perfect moment, while you're telling yourself, I'll start next week, time is still moving forward. And one day you look back and think, where did it all go? Let's make this real. Imagine you plant a seed today. For the first few days, nothing happens. No leaves, no growth, just dirt. Now imagine you give up after a week and say, guess this isn't working. Sounds ridiculous, right? But that's exactly how most people treat their goals. They expect results instantly. They want success to show up like fast food, quick, easy, and right on time. But real growth? It's more like cooking a slow meal. It takes time. And if you rush it, you ruin it. Here's where it gets interesting. The people who win with time aren't the ones doing huge things every day. They're the ones doing small things consistently, reading 10 pages a day, working out for 30 minutes, practicing a skill even when they don't feel like it. It doesn't look impressive in the moment, but over time, it changes everything. Let's add a little humor here. Ever tried cleaning your room after ignoring it for a week? At first, it's just one shirt on the chair. Then suddenly, the chair disappears. Now it's not a chair anymore. It's a clothes storage system. That's how time works too. Ignore small things long enough, they turn into big problems. But the reverse is also true. Handle small things early, they turn into big wins. That's the magic of time. Now let's talk about something we don't like to admit. Procrastination. It's not laziness. It's fear in disguise. Fear of failing. Fear of not being good enough. Fear of starting something you might not finish. So what do? We delay. We tell ourselves, I'll do it later. But later is a very crowded place. It's where dreams go and often stay. Here's a simple shift. Instead of asking, do I have time? Ask, is this worth my time? Big difference. Because when something truly matters, you make space for it. You don't wait for the perfect schedule. You create one. And no, you don't need 5 hours a day to change your life. You need consistency. Even 20 minutes a day, focused and intentional, can move you forward. That's less time than most people spend deciding what to watch. Now here's something powerful. Time doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't judge you, but it also doesn't adjust for you. If you waste it, it's gone. If you use it wisely, it builds your future. Simple as that. And here's the part that might surprise you. You don't need more time. You need more clarity. Clarity on what matters. Clarity on what you're willing to sacrifice. Clarity on who you want to become. Because when you know that, your decisions change. Suddenly, wasting time feels different. Suddenly, scrolling mindlessly feels less satisfying. Suddenly, you start choosing growth more often than comfort. Not perfectly, but more consistently. And that's enough. Let me tell you a quick story. There are two people. One says, I'll start when I feel ready. The other says, I'll start now and figure it out. A year later, one is still waiting. The other has experience, progress, and lessons. Same time, different choices, different results. That's the power of time. So here's the question. What are you doing with yours? Not yesterday, not tomorrow, today. Because today is where everything begins, not some perfect future version of you, but the current, slightly tired, slightly distracted, real you. And that's enough. You don't need to be perfect to use your time well. You just need to be intentional. Start small. Do one thing that moves you forward, then do it again tomorrow and the next day and the next. Because time rewards action, not ideas, not plans, not "I'll do it someday" action. So the next time you catch yourself saying, "I don't have time," pause and ask yourself, or am I just not using it right? That one question can change everything. Because time is not your enemy. It's your greatest tool. Use it right and it builds your dreams. Ignore it and it quietly takes them away. So choose wisely. Because whether you realize it or not, your future is being created 1 minute at a time. Right now. Let me tell you something a little uncomfortable. Time doesn't care about your plans. You can have the most beautiful goals, the perfect vision board, a notebook full of ideas, but if you don't use your time, none of it moves. It just sits there, looking nice, doing nothing. And here's the part that stings a bit. Someday is not a real day. It's not on the calendar. It's not coming next week. It's not waiting for you. Someday is where we hide the things we're afraid to start. Think about how many times you've said, "I'll start someday. I'll learn that someday. I'll fix my routine someday." Now imagine if you had started the first time you said that. Where would you be right now? Yeah, exactly. But don't get stuck in regret. Regret is just wasted time wearing a different outfit. Instead, use that realization as fuel. Because the best time to start wasn't yesterday. It's now. Always now. Let's talk about something funny, but painfully real. Ever open your phone just to check one thing and somehow end up watching a video about a guy building a treehouse in the middle of a forest with no tools? And you're sitting there like, wow, I should really get my life together. But then you watch another video and another, and suddenly an hour disappears like it was never there. That's how sneaky time is. It doesn't get stolen in big chunks. It slips away in small moments. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. And we barely notice it happening until we do. And by then, it feels like we've lost something we can't get back. Because we have. But here's the good news. You don't need to control every second of your day. You just need to be more aware of it. Awareness changes everything. When you start noticing how you spend your time, you start making better choices. Not perfect choices, better ones. Maybe instead of scrolling for 30 minutes, you stop at 10. Maybe instead of skipping your goal completely, you give it 15 minutes. That counts. That matters. Because small changes in time create big changes in life. Now here's something most people overlook. Energy matters just as much as time. You can have free hours, but if you're tired, distracted, or unfocused, those hours don't mean much. So managing your time isn't just about your schedule. It's about your habits, your sleep, your focus, your environment. If you're always exhausted, even the best plan won't work. So take care of your energy like it's part of your time, because it is. Now let's get real for a second. There will never be a perfect moment, not a perfect day, not a perfect week, not a perfect version of you. Life will always be a little messy. There will always be something going on. So if you're waiting for everything to line up perfectly before you start, you'll be waiting forever. Determined people don't wait for perfect conditions. They work with what they have. Busy day, do a little. Low energy, do something small. Not feeling motivated, show up anyway. Because they understand something powerful. Doing something is always better than doing nothing. Always. Even if it's not your best work. Even if it's not perfect. It's progress. And progress, over time, becomes results. Here's a mindset shift that can change how you see everything. Stop thinking of time as something you spend. Start thinking of it as something you invest. Because every minute you use is either building your future or keeping you exactly where you are. There's no neutral. Watching a movie, that's fine. That's rest. But doing it for hours every day instead of working on your goals, that's not rest anymore. That's avoidance. Be honest with yourself, not harsh, just honest. Because honesty helps you grow, and growth is the whole point. Now imagine this. It's 1 year from today. You wake up, look around, and realize your life has changed. You've improved your skills, you feel more confident, you've made progress on something that once felt impossible. How did that happen? Not in one big moment, not in one perfect day, but through hundreds of small, consistent choices with your time. That's it, nothing magical, just discipline, repeated daily. And you can start that today. Not tomorrow, not Monday, not next month. Today. Even if it's small, even if it's messy, even if it's just 10 minutes of effort. Because those 10 minutes, they matter more than waiting for 2 perfect hours that never come. So the next time you think I'll do it later, catch that thought. Pause and ask yourself, what can I do right now? Then do that. Simple. Because time is always moving. The question is, are you moving with it or letting it pass you by? You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to start and keep going. Because in the end, it's not about having more time. It's about using the time you already have in a way that actually moves your life forward. And the best part, you still have time. Right now. Use it.